gentlemen.
Hey, Chris.
Mick McCarthy, part 2.
Hi, Chris. It's a terrible position, the middle one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all right? Are we all right?
Yeah. Good.
Really good.
So what about what a guy, man.
Mick.
Yeah.
You weren't with us last week for the intro.
No, I weren't.
You were upstairs legging her.
I were upstairs. I'm recovering. I'm still recovering now, but I fucking love him, me.
Did you squeeze a little pump out there when you moved
No,
your knee?
not me clicking.
Was it?
Did you hear it?
I heard something.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
You
fart.
want to go back, get it changed? It sounds like a duck.
To Billy Keane. Clicking.
Yeah, you just can't help liking them, can you?
No.
Yeah.
I've even
No nonsense, but in a friendly way.
Mm-hmm.
We even got like messages saying even though he managed
lovable
them, I still can't not love him.
Yeah. And we've not had a bad word against it. Oh, can't remember anybody.
Nah, because Charlie was diplomatic, wasn't he? I think he fucked Charlie off, but
Except
he didn't say
Yeah, more Ireland this week.
Ireland.
Plenty more
We
Ireland.
bounce around a bit.
just
I
random.
like it when we bounce around and it's not
Chronological.
by the book.
Yeah. I dipped in the toe in it all different places in this episode.
By the way, we've got a Patreon quiz on the 18th of this month.
Yes, Christmas special.
Christmas
Patreon.
special.
Live and exclusive. Don't need the
what?
exclusive, just live.
What a prize.
Can I reveal it?
Yeah.
This bit of kit here is to be won.
About 600 quid, them, you know.
I know.
I've added a bit on.
It's 580.
change.
580.
Chris telling lies as usual.
So it's a fucking beer machine. It looks mint, doesn't it?
Beer machine.
So yeah, get involved. And if you're not a Patreon, is it worth signing up just for the quiz? Definitely.
I mean, if you sign up for the quiz, then you've got all God knows how many episodes as well.
Yeah, because it's the last of the episode, last of the series in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
After this one, we've got one more. So that's going to be it till into New Year.
Hey, before we get Mick in, O'Neills Sportswear. Got to say a massive thank you for sponsoring this series so
They've helped
far.
us out no end this series, haven't they?
It's been a beauty of a series, and I'd like
And
to
a
thank
beauty
them.
of a kit as well.
Normally we've got one, haven't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
We forgot today.
He's forgot it.
So
what's
the
the
links in
crack?
the description if you fancy getting the Undr The Cosh shirts, home and away, and the Friday Club special. Shall we get Mick in?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mick McCarthy.
Part
That was quite sexy, that then, wasn't it? No?
Speak for
Far
yourself.
from sexy.
Creepy.
We always like to stick to the positives, don't we? But
There's a negative coming up.
no, I'm going to come with the positive actually, because it's always a question: who would you like to play you in a movie? And next year, you Steve Coogan's taking on the role of Mick, isn't he?
Yeah, I got told that I got a call from the producer and said, would I speak to Steve Coogan? Because I said, fucking hell, 22 years on and they're telling that story again. And he said, mate, they're saying this business, every 10 years you can tell the same story to a different audience. So I thought, fair enough.
Yeah.
But would I speak to Steve? Yeah. I said, yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I was looking for George Clooney or Brad Pitt. Somebody said to me, who do you think should play? I said, Denzel Washington, he should play me. It will be interesting. Anyway, all these years on, I suppose.
Did you ever sit down with him? And
No, I spoke to him. To be fair to Steve, he said, it's fair to Steve like I know him now, I only spoke to him once. He wants to portray as much as how it was for me and not just a script, which fair dues. I suppose they've given Roy the same opportunity to speak to his actor, who I've seen a few things, by the way, and he's brilliant.
Was it going ahead with or without your blessing? Could you have said, I do not want this film to be made?
No chance. I mean, how could they do it? You think of all the things that are being made about people. There's,
Yeah, I suppose.
you don't get the... And there's been I wouldn't say a million, there's probably been 1 billion words written about the incident anyway. So he's going to go ahead. And I thought, well, Steve Coogan's going to play me. I've got no axe to grind with him. He'll have a script, but he might as well hear how it was for me, you know.
So could you look at the script and go, well, that's not true?
No.
That didn't.
No,
So
no.
you've just got to deal with it.
Yeah, it could be I don't know. It could be a baby reindeer. This one could be suing Netflix. It's not on Netflix, or any other TV companies that might be involved. It could be a big 20 million lawsuit. I doubt it very much.
Do you get sick of it? Getting brought. I mean, we're going to bring it up, but do you get?
Yeah, I do.
Do you get sick of it?
I don't talk about it.
But like you said,
I don't. By the way, I know. I remember saying to somebody, they always kept bringing it up, and I said, "Do you know what?" I said, "In our family, I said we have a bit of a thing now that whoever's brought it up, we have like the kids. Well, my kids are all grown up, and if anybody mentions it, we have this award, and the award is for bringing it up." Dick of the day. So congratulations.
Dickhead. You're in fine company.
It's like a swear box, isn't it? Yeah.
Of course, Darren Bent asked me the same question on TalkSport. There was some incident with a player and a manager, and I got asked to go on and talk. I thought, maybe it'll come up. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope I'm talking about that. And of course, first thing, so... I had to muppet him off though. I give him Muppet of the Day. I couldn't do Dick of the Day on TalkSport. No. That'd have been my last appearance on that, I think.
It was mad though, because when you got the Wolves job, the first signing was Neely. I might be right there, but did you have to speak to him because Keane was manager of Sunderland? Did you have to speak to him on that front? Remember Neil Collins left Sunderland to go to that thingy?
But if you remember, we had to play, and they were all waiting for the first handshake or words against us. I rang Roy and said, "Listen, we need to meet here." So I went and met him in a hotel and chatted it through. We'd had the first handshake then, and then on the pitch when they're all saying, "Oh, this is the first time they've met," and first handshake, it was a load of bollocks. It wasn't. It was only the second, but they were still telling lies on the first. So I spoke to him about it, and I took Neely. Did I take Julio as well?
No,
who did I take? No.
Was there another one? Was there?
No, Julio.
Steve Elliott?
Sleevesy went there, but I don't know if it was from Sunderland.
I think it was. Yes, Sleevesy.
He came to Preston from Wolves.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah. So. Listen, I think at the end of it, when you've got to be professional about it, you're doing your job, and unless somebody else is coming in from, if somebody don't want him or can go somewhere else and play, they go and play, don't they? So no, we sorted that one out at the time.
Does it annoy you that nobody really speaks about how well you did in Saipan?
Yeah, in the World Cup, yeah. Even for the new film, it says it was the worst prepared World Cup ever. Well, actually, I'd been out to Saipan with Ray Tracy and Eddie Corcoran and Taft to look at it. The pitch wasn't great. They promised us a fabulous pitch. And if you can't grow grass in Saipan, by the way, because it rains and sun all the time. So, and when we got there, the pitch was awful. It really was, and deserved complaints from the players. But. And the kit was late. That's not my job.
Yeah, I don't think either of these two have been your fault.
And to be honest, we'd planned Saipan for almost three or 4 days of a jolly before the World Cup, and that's what it was. We had a barbecue, and all the lads are in silly shirts, and we're having a bit of a laugh, and that's pretty much what we went there for. But the facility, the pitch wasn't right, and the kit was a day late. But you're quite right. That's not my responsibility. But I knew when we went from Saipan to Japan, we were going to the most magnificent hotels, training grounds. Everything was perfect. So it was 5 days prior, and then we were. And it's a shame for the players. It doesn't get the recognition of how well they did, as opposed to me and Roy. It's always that, so that's a bit of a shame for them, I think.
Well, McCarthy spoke about it quite well, didn't he? But he did say about Dean Kiley? Said I can play centre mid, Mick, if you need it.
I did that. Well, you can always rely on a footballer, can't you, to get that,
the ice.
But I could see him talk about it all the time, but I'm not going to do, because it's bonkers. That it's how it's portrayed. We'll see how it's portrayed in 2025 with the new film that comes out, you know.
Will you watch it?
Probably, yeah, probably. I'll see. I'll make sure somebody else watches it first and tell me, because it might be somebody else who goes, yeah, I don't fucking want to watch that. Or as my mate said, you know, if it's done fairly and squarely, I'm sure there's things on both sides, whatever, you know. Hey, by the way, as I said, fame at last.
So if you were walking down the street or in a restaurant and you crossed each other's paths, would you just nod or hello or just ignore? On both parties?
I don't think we'd go out of our way to chat to each other, you know. We were at the LMA do recently, for a thing, and we were both there. There was no exchange. But it's difficult. It's what everybody else perceives, you know. Like I said, at Sunderland, and I was at Wolves. Went to see him.
Personally, was it tough? Not the situation itself, but the media perception. Was it kind of a lonely? Like, nobody likes to be criticised, but when you've got the media,
I don't think I was. And by the way, the FAI did a review on it. They had a private company who came in and did a review on it, and I was exonerated of any blame.
Which is it? That's what I mean.
And that never gets talked about either. The review that they did, and everybody spoke to them. I don't know if Roy spoke to them. I have no idea. But I spoke to them, and everybody else who spoke about it, and not one little bit of blame was attached to me for what went off through somebody coming who had got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Independent inquiry.
Independent inquiry. Thank you. I was struggling there for words. Independent inquiry.
Which I imagine makes it even more.
You see, here we are. It's 2024, 22 years on, and it's still. But it's one of the most things from a World Cup that's most famous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's Bobby Moore getting arrested prior to one. There's the hand of God. You think of the World Cups that get spoke about. I mean, I wish it was for me scoring a goal or doing something brilliant, but, well, you know what? I did something all right. We got through to the last 16 and we lost on penalties to Spain. And the football that we played in that World Cup was terrific. Really good start, really good side, good players. And it's something that I'm proud of. Unfortunately, that side of it never gets spoke about.
Did you ask for volunteers for the penalties?
No, well, you always do, actually. I'm not going to tell anybody who can take a penalty, so you are asking for volunteers. Yeah. But we'd practice penalties in that goal the night before, because the night before or the day before you can train on that pitch. And I orchestrated a 1-1 draw in the 7-a-side, 8-a-side. I made sure it was a draw, so we went to penalties. And everybody had to take a penalty in that goal. You know, we'd practice them in training, but everybody took a penalty in that goal. You wouldn't have thought so, the way we took them. Fucking well reached, one of them.
No dickheads, though.
No. I probably called you a dickhead because you're going to lose at the time. You're just a young man. Fucking stop fighting with him, you dickhead. Just get on with it.
That's what it was.
I know.
You're in for a Ronan Keating dickhead.
Great lad.
He was the first person I saw when I signed for Norwich as well.
He's a great lad.
Frosty.
No, the opposite. Be brilliant. But I was nervous, thinking, how's it going to be? But he was brilliant.
He is. He's a lovely fella.
So, who was the most difficult player you've ever had to deal with?
Apart from the obvious.
Apart from... And how did you deal with them?
Jay Bothroyd was a bit of a challenge. Just as you want me to set you up at all? Oh, yeah.
Did you sign him or were he already in the building?
He was pretty much coming, I think. They'd been speaking to him before I got there. And to be fair to him, he had a great first season. I think he scored some great goals, but I had plenty of run-ins with him as well. I'm not going to badmouth him, but
I will.
I'll let you do it. No, because he did really well, and he scored some great goals, but he's always got that, you know, he can always challenge you, like, you know,
as a footballer,
parking his Bentley in two places and So me and Taff went and parked our cars either side of his door so he couldn't get in. I know. We were probably being, mischievous and shouldn't really do that, but it was funny.
I remember you in the studio somewhere. Did he take his shirt off one time or something and throw it?
Like when he were at Arsenal?
No.
We were playing at Wolves once, and he's a sub. And so we're losing. I can't remember what we're losing. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. I've no idea. But I put him on. Of course, he goes on, and immediately he scores. And he's giving it me like through his teeth to me, and he's letting me have it. I said, TC, just get us a subs box up, will you? They said, get the number 9 out. So I'm making a sub. So he looks and he goes, we've just put him on. He said, Jay, we just put him on. I said, I know, and he's fucking coming off. So he says, what for? I said, for fucking giving out to me. I've put him on. I'm not tolerating. He's right in front of the dugout giving out, and all the punters are giving it me, like and all. I said, it's coming off. So I know that he goes, he gets a number out. Bit embarrassed by like, number 9 has just scored, it's 3-2. And of course, Jay Bothwell was like, he went, I never said anything. I went, fucking guilty as charged. He knew exactly what he was coming off for because he went right up and gave it to me in front of the dugout, So off he comes, sits down. Fucking sit down there. I said, I'll fucking lose 3-2 before I'd have you giving me a stick in front of everybody. Let me tell you, I'm not having that. So,
and did you have to come out and say that in the interview after?
Yeah, well, I had to tell people why he come off. I'm not having. Well, put it this way: I would never do it to a player. Jeff Whitley misses a penalty. I go and say, well, you miss a penalty. I berated him in the dressing room. Don't say it publicly. And then I apologise on his way home. He stopped. I said, I have to apologise for what I said to you. I went over the top. He stood up to take a penalty, but I'm upset, he's upset. So you've got to turn it the other way around. Players go on, players you take them off and they're giving out yards to you. When you put them on, I've always said this so when they're playing, players coming on in the morning, I had this thing, I'd shake hands with players, everybody, every morning. And it's good because you can say, look them in the eye, morning lads, how you doing, morning John, morning Brownie, morning Chris and all that. And they're all fine while they're playing. And then when they're not playing, they come in and give you a piece of wet fucking fish and don't look at you. Morning gaffer, And I grab the hands, hold on a minute, how many games have you just played for me? 10 on the trot, gaffer. Well, give me a bit of break then, somebody else is going to have to play. You can't just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. With a squad of players, so I think that respect has to be both ways. And I haven't gone and berated a player, slaughtered him. I don't, if he's had a bad game, I'm not bringing him off going, fucking hell, he was shut in. Fucking come on, hurry up, get off. You've been out. So to have somebody go on when he's scored a goal and come right in front of the dugout and do it, not a chance is that happening. Come and sit behind me.
Judge, jury and executioner.
The thing is, when I played with him, he'd got his England cap and all, so you can imagine what it were like then.
So
I did hear some of the comments you made. I'm not going to. He did some really good stuff for me, but yeah, it was a bit of a challenge. Yeah.
When you've had a situation like that, though, whichever player, is that Monday morning a private chat, or is that carry on as you are, see if you improve your attitude?
A bit of both, innit? You pull him. Listen, I tell him the reasons why. I don't think anybody's ever liked the reasons I give, but I tell him the reasons why. And he can like it or lump it. It's up to him to and not just him, them, to change. Yeah. Are we always right as managers? Are we hell? But, we are in charge, and it's us that we're running the asylum, put it that way, And you know what? Well, I've certainly only ever done my best to get the best out of people. And help them and coach them and manage them. And not bad-mouthed anybody. I don't. We might have a bit of a laugh now and tell a story, but
Yeah.
you know, at the time, never ever gone to the press. I remember the press at Wolves saying to me, I'd gone after the game, and all the lads were knackered, and they asked me the question, and I said they were running on empty. Anyway, the following week, on the Monday or Tuesday, our press officer comes to me and says, "Have you seen this?" He said, "These journalists have said you've called the players non-entities." I said, "They were fucking running on empty." So the next press conference, I dug him out in front of everybody. I said, "Did you think you got a scoop there? Like the one and only person? I would never do it. I've never done it. I've never given players stick. My office, the dressing room, where we're all together, yes. There's times I've had to apologise, but you never do it on the pitch. So, you know, respect each other, that's for sure."
What's the biggest turnaround you've seen from a player in terms of you might have thought he's done, you didn't fancy him,
Is that in the cold?
and then that attitude or whatever's turned it around?
Off the top of my head, I can't really just say that. One person, and it's not through getting a bollocking off me or a talking to, you know. I think there's a lot of things that happen to them. I think it comes from yourself, but you must know, you know, the gaffer's giving out to you. If you're not fit enough, you're not fit enough. If you're not doing something properly, you're not doing something properly. If you're not being a member of the squad and doing it as it should be done, I can't tell you one that I can just say off the top of my head that I've had this great chat with him. All of a sudden, he's become a good player. I can't. I think I've tried to nurture them right from the very start when they come in the door. That I'm honest with them, I'm true to them, I'm faithful to them, certainly, and I would back them up right to the very last.
I mean, you give it a good go with Sean, trying to get Sean
Yeah. Yeah.
And the times he'd come in from training, Sean's on the punch bag and trying to get some timber off. But then he wouldn't take it on board, he'd just go out and
Get
on the
pissed again.
piss on the Tuesday and Wednesday. And you think, and I'm sure he regrets it now, I was going to try and get him on, but because he was some player.
He was a talented player, but he just he would not conform to what you wanted. He was, you know, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to be the weight he wanted to be, which was no good for the club at all, no good for me. And you know what? Despite that he's a good player and he's talented, he might score a goal. What does it say about the coach or the manager if he's playing a guy that's a stone overweight? Actually, there's a few managers might have played it. Sorry.
Breathe out, John, breathe out.
He said, I've never been a stone overweight. I was 2 stone overweight.
I've had 33 managers, by the way.
No, but, you know, my point is that you can't just rely on your ability. You've got to run around, you've got to put your foot in, you've got to do things properly, you've got to be professional, you've got to be on time. You're not going to be out drinking when you shouldn't be out drinking. And, well, he wasn't, so.
What do you class as your biggest achievement as manager?
Qualifying for the World Cup, without a doubt, yeah.
Was that the Holland gate? The Holland?
No, because I'd followed Jack as well. I mean, you know, it's like following Alex Ferguson, that. With the greatest respect to Jack and to me and to Alex Ferguson, everybody's followed him. In my world, it's like following him. He's just 2 World Cups and a European Championship and 10 years. And there's a saying, there's a statue in Cork Airport of him. He's a legend. He's a saint there now in Ireland. So following him and getting to the playoffs twice and then qualifying, that's got to be the biggest, yeah.
Was Holland the playoff or not? What was the Holland game when McCarthy?
Holland was the playoff, yeah. When Macca scored, Jason scored, yeah. I have to say, as it came to Jason, he chested it down. I can't remember ever shouting shoot. Don't shoot! Jace was brilliant. He epitomised the squad. You know, he was just his wonderful personality, but he could play and all. Yeah.
He didn't go on stage with Bono though, did he? The night after.
Fuck Bono off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the promotions at Wolves and getting to the Premier League it's brilliant, and it was done through young and hungry, like we said, signing players not on a lot of money and not for a lot of money, and loads of loan players, which is great. But World Cup, you can't beat that, I don't think.
Give us your best signing. That might be another tough question. Your best ever signing, pound for pound.
Kevin Doyle is up there at Wolves. There'd be different clubs, wouldn't there? You know that your best signing might be at. But certainly, when he came to Wolves, he probably kept us up his goals, and the way he played that year, he was brilliant. I mean, his energy, his athleticism, his ability. But he was fabulous. He really, yeah. And others, see, that people always laugh at me because I'll say Carl Henry at Wolves was different class. He came and he did all the shitty stuff, Carl. And they'll say, oh, yeah, he did the shitty stuff because he couldn't play. Well, actually, he could. He got it. He gave it to people, broke things down, nicked it off people. And all those people, all those players I've had like that, I've really appreciated. They didn't have to be off the scale. And another one would be Michael Kitely, signed at Wolves. Javo was another one that we signed from Gillingham and ripped it up. You know, really, yeah, top. They turned out to be top players where they came from, very humble beginnings, and I love that about them. In fact, the ones I've tried to sign when we were up there, and I've signed what I thought were going to be good players, have generally turned out not to be so good.
Why is that, do you think? You know, when we went to Sunderland, did you make a thing of when we went up with Sunderland, because you signed a lot of the lads that were good in that championship season?
Yeah,
Andy Gray, Tommy Miller. Did you do the same at Wolves?
No, we didn't. We ended up being, like I said, Javo, Michael Kitely came from Grays for next to nothing. Neil Collins came back down from Sunderland. We ended up signing a lot of players for not a lot of money and bit obscure, people might have thought. But, you know, we'd done our homework, we'd done our scouting, it worked.
Would you get more pleasure from taking somebody from Grays and seeing where they go than paying £5 million for somebody?
I remember it was Frank Gray that rang me about Michael Kitely, said to me down at Grays. And we went and looked him, Taff went and looked at him, said, yeah, I'd looked at him on the bits I could see. Yeah, we should sign 25 grand. And I remember him on the pitch that first day, Breeny, who was a good judge of players and characters, he says to me, Gaffer, who the fuck is that? He came in and ripped it up, like, you know, he was just took to it like a fish to water. He looked like a championship player straight away. Top, yeah, great lad.
Going back to you right at the start, that time at Barnsley, and then looking for your move, we talk about it all the time, you know, players kicking balls and whatnot. Have you had many situations where, you know, you've got a player who personally has got a great move on the cards, but for you as the manager, it's really going to affect your season? And
what do you mean, letting him
move on?
Have you had a player who said, look, so and so's made a bid for you, I'm not selling you for that, and then they've fucking thrown the toys out?
I tell you, lads, I wish you'd have given me these questions before. Just give me the heads up, and so I could have had a think about it.
Or even just being in that situation where, what obviously happened at you at Barnsley, where somebody's come in with somebody and you're like, do you know what? I can't even tell him.
Well, that's nonsense anyway, because he knows before me. Yeah. You know, anybody who's going to get a move. I mean, it's at Sunderland, it didn't happen because we were in the championship and we won the championship, and so nobody was wanting to leave. And then we get to the Premier League, and actually, you know, nobody didn't want the players. It was the same at Wolves. What I would say is when I'm there is then they start looking at Michael Kitely and they start looking at my players because they've got promoted and doing well. Sometimes it's just you can't stop it because they come in and offer the money, and then you get the player who just down tools. I haven't seen anybody has. I'm trying to think. I'm scratching my head here. At clubs I've been at. Oh, yeah, of course, Ipswich. You know, I signed Webster from Portsmouth for under £1 million, and then Brighton come. Was it Brighton who came in for him first? We had to sell him.
Bristol. Did he go to Bristol?
He went to Bristol, didn't he, for £3 million, and you see what he's done. He's gone on. Tyrone Mings, Aston Villa come in. You don't want to lose them, but they just do. In fact, the one who I'd signed, Daryl Murphy was the one. Now they're all coming. They're flooding back now. Jesus. Daryl Murphy was the one because he'd played for Celtic and he'd signed. I think he'd signed for Roy Keane prior to me. I think I signed him. I can't remember. No, I got Daryl at Ipswich, and he'd not scored more than 10 goals for anybody, I don't think. And TC gets working with him, and we've not mentioned TC, but what a great coach, Terry Connor, and his assistant. Gets him in front of goal. His sessions are brilliant, by the way. He's out of work now, and I said, you should get onto somebody to get on as a striker coach, even if it's just once or twice a week, because his sessions are brilliant. Daryl, that year when we finished in the playoffs, scored, I think, 27 goals and should really have won the Player of the Year for that. And then Newcastle come in and want to nick him away, I think, for £3 million. And then again, I'm left now without my centre forward who's been brilliant, and I end up scratching around and get somebody in. Well, I'm not going to name. And nowhere near as good. And we're nowhere near as good. Then I've lost my best centre forward.
I think I might have played with him and all.
Anyway, we might come to that. So he probably has. He's been at enough clubs.
He's battered me recent.
Has he? So
yeah.
So we sell him, and then we gradually selling them. Webster, Tyrone Mings. You just keep spiralling down. You know, you can't keep selling. You bring them in for next to nothing, and you get them out for a lot of money, which it looks great on your CV if you're the recruitment manager. If you're the manager,
it's no good
they give you a bit
it?
of credit, and then when your team's not as good, you get the tin tack. So Daryl was one, because he really did have a negative effect on the team at Ipswich.
He was unplayable, wasn't he? Especially at Ipswich.
Oh, he was brilliant, big and powerful. You know, could stick it. He was quick. And he'd found his shooting boots. He was scoring goals.
What was the crack at it? Because I remember playing there, and when you were manager, and the fans were just on your case constantly.
It was only late. It was only, well, that ever-decreasing circle spiralling downwards in terms of selling your players and taking players on loan. We hadn't got a budget. I never once complained about it. When people said, I said, no, if the people who own it, Marcus who owns it, doesn't want to spend his money, it's not my job to whinge about him. It's my job to do something else with it. Get players on a budget, make it as best we can. And I've always believed that, and I've always done it. But unfortunately, I think I got a bit of grief because I kept supporting him. I'd still stick with him, because that's, if you own something, they can't make me retile my roof. They can't make me do my garden if I don't want to do it. If I own it, and somebody wants you to do something with it, fuck off. It's my business. And I thought, Marcus, I worked well with him and we did what we did, but we were ever decreasing circles. We were going down. And so towards the end, I did get a bit of grief. But other than that, I had brilliant support at Ipswich. It was that last season. And, we started to play fairly shit as well. So, and that's probably to do with a lot of reasons. We weren't as good as we had been. It's like at a football club. It's like an anagram. You go from God to dog very quickly. You don't go as quick back the other way, by the way, from God to dog or dog to God. It's, you love when it's going well. I had it at Blackpool on Tuesday. We beat QPR 6-2, and it's Mick McCarthy's Tangerine Army, and on the Saturday we got beat. I've heard words I've never heard before. We were bad, but let me tell you, I have a fair catalogue of swear words.
I must admit, some of the interviews and stuff, that they end up going viral, don't they? Your particular one, the one when you'd lost, was it one in 16 or something?
This can't carry on.
This can't carry on.
So it can. Oh, it can't get any worse, did he say? It can't get any worse. Oh, it can.
But that's just being honest, isn't it?
Yeah. One of the funniest now is a guy. He's a journalist called Donovan. I'm sure he's Donovan. That is him. Yeah, he's down at Norwich. We'd gone there with Wolves. Sure, it was Wolves. Anyway, we're talking about Steers, and just Steerman got sent off. He'll tell me if he didn't. I'd got Julio Ark on loan who scored an own goal. We scored 2 own goals. We had one or two sent off. We lost 5-2. Not really a good game for me. And I thought the referee had one. He was getting pelters off me. So I went in. It was an hour when I came out of the dressing room. I suited and booted, and the guy's waiting for Anglia TV or something. He said, "Mick, you ready?" I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'll do it." So, Mick, what are the positives you can get out of that? I said, "You're having a laugh, aren't you?" Went. That was it. Just left him stood there.
They must be dreading it. Where are you coming out?
Well, of all the... I've seen him since. I said, of all the questions you could ask me, we've lost 5-2, 2 own goals, 1 sent off, 1 carried off, the referee's this. So, Mick, what a real jolly faces. What are the positives you can take out of that?
What's the one? And he's told us about it, Don Goodman. And he does your accent brilliantly.
Oh,
I can't remember what it was. I think he was interviewing you, and you've said... I don't know if he's asked you a stupid question or something, and you've said something funny back. I'll have to find it.
You'll have to find it.
If you can't remember.
Hey, by the way, I don't go looking for it. It's the questions that you get asked. You're right on edge. You know. So it's.
Oh, it can.
It can.
Mick McCarthy's sexy stare.
Oh, I know.
There's a playlist on Spotify.
It was a careless whisper. Yeah, that was.
I've seen it.
I know. I've had a stool put at the side of the dugout because I've had an operation on my ankle and I'm on crutches. So it's something different in it. The manager's on crutches. He's got a boot on his foot. They come out, the camera's there, and I'm sat on the stool outside the dugout. And because the camera's coming towards me, and I'm actually thinking, will you fuck off with that camera? But I know full well if I do that,
you didn't bother.
I'm on TV. I don't want them to see me saying that, or I've just said it and everybody's going to see it. So, but he's coming towards me, so I thought I'll just give him the eyes, Yeah. I didn't know what going viral was.
It could be a Valentine's card.
You will do when that film comes out.
I know,
yeah. Did you enjoy your time at Cardiff?
I loved it. I did. Yes, it was great. I mean, the first season we went from 17th to 7th. We just missed the playoffs. And then we didn't do too much recruitment. There was a lot of lads coming out of contract, and my second season was a nightmare, to be honest. So, but I loved it. It's a great place, great club. Fans were brilliant until, of course, you're leaving, and then, like everybody else, the results were rubbish, so I deserved it. But the club's fabulous, yeah, really.
What would Tan like to work for?
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm going to tell you.
Another dick in the jail.
No.
Would you believe that?
No. It was unusual. Anyway, I had to go into the prayer room once, and I said to somebody then, look, I did it because I do it out of respect for what they believe in. But then I said, look, I'm a Catholic, so we'll leave that one alone now. So it was that kind of stuff was different, but I say the club and the players that were there at the time were terrific. We had a really, but I was disappointed. The way you always are when you get the sack, of course, but I was just disappointed because the first season was brilliant and it looked like it was all going to be going well. But I reckon there was a lot of players coming out of contract that year, and there were nobody renewing contracts, so it was difficult. And it looks like it's proved to be difficult for everybody else who's followed me since. But everybody, I was treated with great respect by Vincent Tam from the top and everywhere else. Not always what I would do things, but then that's we've all got different opinions on that.
Do you know when you're a winless run? As a manager, are you just trying anything you can to try and get a win? Whether it's formations, team bonding sessions. I
have done over the team bonding, all of those things. Yeah, just to try and get a spark out of them. You end up training more, you end up training less, you end up not going for a drink. You end up saying, right. I mean, at Millwall when I'm right wet behind the ears, we played Port Vale away, and we were 1-1, and they win in the 90-some minutes. And of course, I've gone in. Bear in mind, I'm wet behind the ears. I'm just a young manager coach. What would I be? 38. I've only been doing it for 2 years, and I went in. I ripped into the lads. I thought we were on a bit of a bad run. I thought this could be me out of here, so I might as well say what I'm going to say and let them all have it. And walked out the door and slammed it after about 15-minute rant. And went and sat in the dugout down on the track. I was seething. I felt sorry. I'd said some of the things to the lads. It was all going through my head. Taff comes down, sits down and said, "How you doing?" "How do you think, Taff, you know?" So he said, "Look, he had as you'd want from your assistant now, anybody who's helping, just a calm in chat, just chill out. Look, we'll get on the bus, we'll get back, And then on the way back home, he said, "Listen, I think we should go out for a beer with the lads, take the lads out for a drink. We're playing Nottingham Forest in the Cup on Tuesday. This is Sunday night." He said, "We should go." I said, "You're right." And I thought, well, I'll tell you what, if I get the sack after the Nottingham Forest game, at least we'll have had a few beers on Sunday, so we'll go out. So I said, "I go now." I said, "Well, me and the lads, we'll meet them in Covent Garden." So they all turn up and just about get rocking drunk, you know, every one of them. But on the way out, one of the players, who is going to remain nameless, decides to kind of goose a young lady with a bottle of beer while she stood there. He's gone, like, pushed it in her backside or something. So this guy comes to me, quite a big muscly guy, and he's got his entourage with him. He said, "They tell me you're in charge." I said, "Well, I'm in charge of some of them in here." So don't forget, I'm stood at the bar having a pint as well, and he comes. He said, "Well, one of your players has just insulted my girlfriend, and we're going to beat him up." "Oh," I said, "well, then I am in charge, yes." And I said, "And if I was you, I wouldn't do that." And he said, "Well, we are, because he's insulted and he's done this and that." I said, "I know." I said, "If he has, I'll apologise on his behalf, and I'm sure I can get him to come and apologise." No, apologies, no good. We're going to beat him up. We're going to do him. I said, "Well, look, there's me and my staff here. There's about 6 of us at the bar here. And in that other bit, there's about 25 players. So there's at least, some of them might have gone home by now." I said, "But at least about 25 of us at least still." I said, "And from me counting your lot, there's 3 of you lads." I said, "You're fairly big lads. And your girlfriends." I said, "But I don't fancy odds. And if you punch him, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to be first in, and then we're all going to start." So he giving me a load of lip. I said, "Look, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you, if you punch him, I'm going to be first in, and all the others will come in behind me, and it's going to finish badly for you." Probably with my fingers crossed, hoping it didn't hit me. But I was giving it the big one. I wasn't. I was just sticking up for the lads, you know. And then, of course, the lads are all around. I said, "So if you have 2 choices, either fuck off or you end up fighting us, and it's going to be me and you to start." So he made the right decision for both of us. So he gave us a load of abuse, but turned tail and walked out. So I thought, anyway, that was all right. But then me and Taff are still stood at the bar having a drink, and all the lads are dispersing. They're all going.
Oh, no.
So I'm thinking, me and Taff now at the end of it, walking out on our own. I said, "I hope this fucker into our side with his 2 mates and his 3 girlfriends." So I thought, oh no. Anyway, we go and play Nottingham Forest, and we beat them 2-0 on the Tuesday. And it can't be because they've all been out drinking, but there's that element of, they came in and trained on Monday morning, they were ready for it, and then I think we won 5 games on the bounce. I get manager of the month, and I end up with 1,000 and some games. I'm telling you, I'd have been out of work, but for that. And I, to this day, I'll still say to Taff, I think that got us out of jail there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I don't think that could have gone any better as a team bonding session.
Nah.
I know.
To the point where I think about taking the lads out again and just slipping someone a few quid for say I'm going to start a fight and you have the lads back.
I have to say on Monday morning, Chris, I didn't think it was the right way to get a result on Tuesday night against Nottingham Forest, but it worked. And You were asking the question, what do? Do you train harder? Do you train less? Do you go out? Do you stay in? Sometimes you just get have you been in clubs where something's happened or something's been said, or there's been a game that has turned it around, or something that's just... See, I'm asking
just
you a question. If ever give me
yeah.
time to think about it, you could give me an answer.
Give me a heads up, Mick. I'd put a better thing. I can't think. I don't... To be fair, somehow, I've never really been struggling. But like, I've always been at teams like up and about the playoffs, or I've gone in when we're bottom of the league and managed to pick up and stay up.
What was the crack at York when he took you to the boozer, didn't he?
Gary Mills used to take us to the pub Fridays. Every away game.
Wow.
If we were south of Northampton.
Yeah. You know, some managers have put a sub on. You know, it puts a sub on, scores a couple of goals, you win the game. It's brilliant. And it's great when it happens, but let me tell you, you're right. You're trying everything to get a result. And of course, taking them out to the Polar Bear pub in Covent Garden. I don't know if it's still there. There are other pubs if people like to go for a drink. I don't recommend that to try and get a result on Tuesday night away at Nottingham Forest, but we did. And I'm trying to think of the guy I'd signed from Wimbledon who scored both goals and then didn't do pretty much again then after that. But it's amazing how it was a big turning point in my career, I would say. Not a turning point, something that I got away with and ended up enabling me to get then that Manager of the Month award and kept me in the game. It's incredible how it does.
What would you do different? Anything you'd do different in management?
I'd probably get a better pitch in Saipan.
And took the kit yourself.
Fucking I drove it out.
A better pitch.
Any truth in you being offered the South Korea job?
Yes, yeah, there is. Yeah. I had it helped me get a better deal at Wolves anyway, that's for sure. Yeah, it was, and I quite fancied it because going back into international football. But I went to see Jez and I went to Steve Morgan, and to be fair, they were very good with me and very fair. And I thought gave me the contract that the job deserved and the job I'd done deserved, I was doing. So I considered it. I would have took it, but for that, and it was great because they put the faith in me and showed me that they wanted me, and it turned out brilliantly at Wolves, having got promoted and been in the Premier League for 3 seasons.
Yeah,
I remember getting promoted at West Ham. What was a Pardew said to you about us? You remember after the game, we'd obviously got promoted, and they were. I don't know if they made the playoffs that year. Did he say that we weren't the best team in the league or something?
Probably. Pards was. There's no doubt.
Like, congratulations, you weren't the best team, but
you.
And like, for me.
Oh, is that where we beat them at the last end of the season and we went up?
That was the night we got promoted. Yeah. And it was. I remember you coming in and saying, "That fucker."
I know. I probably said, "Do I give a fuck? Are we the best team?" Because I was laughing with Granty, telling him about Granty was on when I was speaking to him, and. When we played at Norwich against his team were different class and played us off the park, and we should have been beaten by 4 or 5 goals. But Matt Murray was magnificent. He saved everything. It was brilliant. And we score and we win. And of course, Granty, knowing what he's like, he'd go into the press and he'd be chatting away. But apparently he tells me, he says, I went to the press. He said, I said, we played well today and we should have won, but I'm not going to go on with that. He said, because I know when fucking he comes in, big nose me, he said he's just going to say, we won. So I go into his room and all the lads, his staff are going, yeah, we played well and Granty's waiting for it today. Yeah, we should have had it and he should have scored. Your keeper was magnificent, but we should have won. I said, did you? No. What's that fucking talking about it then? And Granty knew it was coming and he was like chewing inside. He just knew. He said, "You fucking hell. He never bothered whether you play good, bad or indifferent if you've won." I said, of course. I said to him, I've never been sacked for winning football matches. You don't play well every time, do you? And all this afterwards, when you've played really well and lost, get out of it. It's only the manager who's
Exactly.
We're only trying to make you feel better that we played really well. So what?
I remember one conversation.
It has. Just
Fuck off.
That run that we end up getting promoted, I was in the team, if you remember. I came on at QPR that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how many games was left. And I think that was me. I scored 2 that day, but that was my last goals of the season, I think.
All right.
But I was playing, and then you bring us off, say, 70 odd minutes and bring Stevie Elliott on, because it was me and Marcus up front. And Stephen Elliott was coming on and scoring all the time. And I think you were probably getting a little bit of pressure from the fans to play Stevie, which was probably fair enough, because I was doing all right, but not scoring.
Yeah, it's an easy pressure, isn't it, when you keep coming on and scoring to play him.
Yeah. It was one of them, and I remember coming in, and I was like, fuck me. Obviously, we won, so I was happy. But I was like, I think my days are numbered in the team here. But you just paused and went, don't worry about that. I know Sleevy's coming on and do well, but you'll be playing for the rest of the season. You're going to be in my team for the rest of the season. And I felt fucking up there.
Yeah.
And it was just what I needed, because I think Sleeve came on at West Ham and scored.
Oh, he's amazing, Sleeves. Yeah. That's going to be his debut. He came on, got people near the halfway line, scored. He was amazing, Sleeves. Yeah, he came and he came down to us at Wolves. But you reminded me of that game now. I dug those two out. I find them a week's wages, the pair of them, I think, in front of everybody, because they'd been out, Jeff and Sean.
But you mustn't have said anything, because you obviously started him. So was it one of them where you're like, all right, we'll see how he does?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Then, because he had got away with it all season, but I'd noticed that he was toiling. His legs were going after 60 minutes, and obviously the next game was the QPR. So was that the first time you said anything to him for going out? Because Sean never played again. You didn't give Sean a chance.
No chance. No. Come on, we were trying to win the league, weren't we? And we did ultimately, and they contributed. You just can't do that. It's like was it the night before? Or it was ridiculous what they'd done. What they had done was ridiculous and unacceptable. You know. Well, you remember when I came, because I came in the Premier League, there was 9 games left, and I said, well, I've got to try and win them all. There's no point sitting back trying to nick a few points, because we tried to win them all, lost them all. And then the season started, and we go to Nottingham Forest, and we get beat 1-0. We get Millwall at home, get beat 1-0. So we'd lost 11 games on the bounce, really. 9 in the Premier League, but it's getting right on me, innit? So I go looking for... Somebody said to me about Jeff and Sean, so I go looking for them, the two of them. Jeff Whitley, and there's a hotel on the dual carriageway on the way out there. They were staying in there. It wasn't anything salubrious, I can tell you that. But I went in, and the Millwall fans were in there, and they're all, hey, because I've been there and all. And then I go and start digging Sean Thornton out. He sat at the table with a bottle of wine and 2 girls. This is at 6:25 or something like that. I've walked in. I've left my wife and somebody else. I said, hold in here. I've got to go in here and see somebody. Went in, dug him out, and these 2 girls said to me, "It's not his fault. It's not his fault that you lost." I said, "You two, shut the fuck up." I'm not interested in what you've got to say. And by the way, you're not even his fucking girlfriend. All you do is buy his drink. Shut up and keep your gob shut. So, and I'm giving it to him across the table. And he's wait, and where's your mate? Jeff. So I find out his room. Fucking on the door. He opens it up. He's got his trousers on, smart shoes on, and he's ironing his shirt to go out. I said, going out here? So I rip into him, give him some serious abuse at the door, and walk off, get in the car and drive home. Oh, I mean, I was raging. Bear in mind, don't forget, there's 2 games in the Championship, and we've now got Preston away. So we go to Preston, and apparently they held the record, which is a record you don't want to hold, for the most defeats, and it's 11 or 12, I think, 12 defeats in a row. So we beat them 2-0. We played well and all. We played okay in the other 2 games, but we got beat. Like I said, who gives a... We got beat. So we beat Preston, and I have to go across. The press conference is in... You have to go through the director's room. So I'm going through just side of the director's room, and these people from this club, who I can't remember, came out and thanked me for winning because they didn't want to lose their record of the amount of defeats. and I said, you can fucking keep it, let me tell you. I said, I didn't want it, and you're welcome to it. So I couldn't believe it. It's like, thank you for winning. We didn't want to talk about, the one bit of fame you're ever going to get, and they're going to get. So they've been invited to the game to see whether we
took
their unenviable record of 11 defeats on the
They didn't want you to.
And then we ended up in the playoffs that year, so we had a horrible start. But you know what? When I look back at it, having all those players that were in the Premier League that didn't want to play and were all exonerating themselves of any blame for going down, they all wanted to leave, and that most of them did. It was always going to take a little bit of time to turn it around.
I think it took a bit of time the following season when we signed all the lads from League Two. But I remember going to Reading. I think we played Reading, and they actually beat us. So we were in the changing room down in the dumps. But you came in and said, I saw something there. Even though we've got beat, I said, so fuck. But you said, I saw something, we'll be all right. And then from there, that's when we went. Yeah. I don't know how many games into the season Reading was, but it was he played Neil Collins. It was his first game. And you went, I saw something, we'll be all right, lads, and then end up winning the league.
Me and Neil Collins have a bit of thing about Reading, because we when I was at Wolves going for promotion, we didn't win a game for 13 games, and one of the games was Reading away, and Neil scored an own goal. So Reading is, and that one, when I said, it can. It can't get any worse, can it? It can. That was at Reading as well. Yeah. And if I never see Reading again, I'll be delighted.
Talk about come back down to earth as well, though, because that was Neely's first game. Come from, where did he come from?
Was it Cowdenbeath?
Somewhere like that. Playing his first game in the Championship. And I think you made him play in the reserves the night after. I think he just played a half or something. And Neely was like, oh, fucking hell, spewing. Do you know what I mean? But you just said, go on, you need to play games.
He was great. It cost $5,000 or something. It was,
yeah.
He did really well. But that, I'm saying when you're talking to people like the opposition, when they're saying, oh, we played well, you got to be unlucky, because I've had it, you're going, but your players, that's different. Your squad, you've got to give them some sort of confidence, even in a defeat, that, hey, by the way, that wasn't that bad. We've played all right today. There's times you've come off, you had a great game and you've got beat. We got beat 5-3, was it 5-3? We got beat 5 by Southampton when I was at Wolves the year we got in the playoffs, the first one, at home, and we got cheered off. We were unbelievable that day. Their keeper making saves, our defenders keeper not being great. It was unbelievable, the game. And actually we should have won it. And I remember getting, and I always appreciated that one, thinking you got beat 5. And actually we got applauded off for the way we played. I still went in and thought, we fucking lost.
I was going to say, did you go in and say, well, we should have won that?
I did to the players, but me and myself, I'm not interested in getting applauded off for nice performances and getting beat. I want to win. It's nothing else for me.
Tell you what we'll do, we'll just have a minute to thank O'Neills Sportswear.
A quick pause in play.
What are they all about, Chris?
For these. The quality. We've got Big Mick McCarthy's shirt here, but get your own. One of these, or for your 5-a-side team, 11-a-side teams.
Bespoke kit, so you can design your own, can't you?
Yeah. There is a minimum order of 12.
Yeah, maximum, you can just go as many as you want.
In array of sizes.
Up to 7XL, if you've got a big dog.
There is, I think it's 4 to 6 weeks from design to delivery, which I think is a quick turnaround considering.
A very quick turnaround.
But yeah, thank you to O'Neills Sportswear for
sponsoring
this
the series,
providing us with unbelievable kits and giving people the chance to buy their own.
Yeah, so thank you very much. As I said, the link's in the description, I believe, as always. So,
what's your favourite colour?
I like the green and white one.
This one for me. I'm going to get Big Mick up again. This goes back to what I was saying about finding something to get a result. I heard Dave Edwards talking about what ended up being your last game, but I think the game before was West Ham, and you was 1-0 down, and then you just changed the formation, like ultra attacking basically. Like he did go through the team.
What, when I was at Wolves?
At Wolves, yeah. The game before, and you end up winning.
We'd played QPR. I'm sure it was QPR away, yeah. And yeah, I did. But I actually went, and I was far from naive then. I'm about 600 games in. I kept the same team.
That's it.
We played so well with that 4-4-2 and attacking team. I tell you what, I look at it now, Lee Carsley with England, and I think he's done their next coach the biggest favour, Tuchel, the biggest favour by playing all those sexy players and getting beat. Because that's what everybody says, we've got to have, you know, every one of them, all the sexy players. No, you don't. You've got to have a structure in your team. And I did that. We'd gone against QPR and, went all attack, won the game, came away thinking, I could have dropped him. He was great. Yeah. I played the same team. And of course, we're playing against Roy Hodgson, wily old fox, and they've got three in midfield, and we got outplayed. I learned that lesson as well. You know,
and did
you pick your team accordingly to play against
position?
Yeah.
Did you change that going forward from that? Was that like a milestone moment?
It was. I got the fucking sack from what was
It was. No more milestone than that, is there?
I got the. It's West Bromwich Albion as well, of course. So you know I get that. You know, if you're the Wolves manager, lose them 5, you deserve the sack, despite what you've done in the past. So I'm going to leave, and I get told that I can't go out the front door because there's all these people wanting to abuse me and attack me. So sadly, as it was, because Wolverhampton are fabulous. I had to go out the back door, and my car was brought up to the top, and I had to drive off. But I'm in the following day. I haven't been sacked then. I'm in training for the next game. Anyway, I'm in, as usual, me, TC and the lads. I'm in at 7 o'clock Sunday morning. We've got the game on. We're watching it back. And we're on the bikes, just ticking over on the legs, like doing a bit of exercise as well, watching the game back. And then it's almost still dark outside. I hear the door open. And you hear that... It's like Darth Vader coming in. It was Jez Moxey, the chief executive, at 7:15 in the morning. Mick, can I have a word with you? Now, I didn't think he was trying to sell me something, or he wasn't just going to have a word. So that's what happened. But you know what? I got it. We were having a bad run of results. What I couldn't get afterwards is that they didn't get anybody in after me, and they ended up giving it to TC. And TC had the last 10 games, I think. And he said to me, he rang me up, he said, Gaffer, he said, they've got shut of you and you've had 650 league games behind you and they've employed me and I've not got one. So they were looking for Neil Warnock, user ones, Curbs, all the experienced managers to try and take it to the end of the season, but they all wanted a longer contract. It looked like, it pretty much looked like they were going to go down, and I think the remit was, if you keep us up. But, you know, I think if I'd have been in their position, I'd have been loath to take it as well.
Do you know, you said Taff was brilliant for you as an assistant. Which of the players that you've managed would have fit the bill, do you think, for your assistant? For
assistant? Would you as was TC, by the way, because I just go through Taff. I remember saying to him, we were at Wolves, and we were sat having lunch and I had a bit of crack. I said, what would you do if you packed it in, like, you know? And he said, what would you do? Oh, I said, I'd want one of those kiosks at the end of the Dartford Bridge and just, you know, keep collecting money off people going over the bridge, and just acting bollocks, just nonsense. And he said he always said he'd sell deck chairs, Taff, on the beach down somewhere. So I asked him, we were just having that chat, he said, you know what, I'm thinking I'm going to pack it in, right out of the blue. And he said to me, yeah. So anyway, he did, and then TC got the job. And he you know what? I couldn't see the seam. TC was brilliant. Different, two different characters, but I have to give TC the credit as well. But who would I see fit? Breeny would have been one. Yeah, I'd have had Breeny. I'd have Carl Henry. Yeah, I'd take him.
Loves a debate, doesn't he, Carl? I don't know him. Loves a debate.
I think if he'd have been my assistant, we'd have had less debates about what I was doing than I did while he was a player, because he did like a debate there. He did. We had one at the end of the season when I told him when they were in for the following season, and he was the instigator giving out about it. So we're playing Blackburn the last game, and I pulled him in my office and I said, I give him a right dressing down about, because he was, giving all the lads, we want more time off and all that. We've got one game left. I think it was only one game left, maybe a couple. I said, I'll tell you what we do. You make sure we stay in the league, you and your mates, the team, and you can have another week off. So, of course, I said, there you go. He goes back to the players and they all get round. What's been going on? What's been going on? And quite clearly, he said, we've got another week off. So I was like, fucking great. So fucking big nose follows down, doesn't he? I got them all in, tell them I've had the chat. And I said, I've just had your mate in and all, your fucking captain. I said, and if he's come down here and said he's negotiated a week off and you're all championing him, let me just tell you, there's a remit. You've got to fucking keep us up. He's not just negotiated another week off. He's negotiated another week off if we stay up, So there was a big difference. I think he went, we have another week off before he comes down and takes all the credit. But he was brilliant, Carl, seriously. And I know he's much maligned as just somebody who gets it and gives it, but he was a good captain. And I've said it before, I took it off him actually and gave it to Roger Johnson, and that was a big mistake by me. And I took it off him because he's probably been too busy, and now he's chipping in, and there was an argument and a debate about everything. And I regret that. That was a mistake.
Any crack on Graham Stack?
Oh, Stacky. Oh, yeah. Stacky came, and the first at Wolves at the back of the training ground. So the training ground's here. There's a building up there. There's a canal at the back, and somebody must have told him, and balls used to go in there. So he went to go and fetch them. He just dived in with all his kit on. And came out and trained.
You like that?
Yeah. And then the other thing was Stack, he got done. I'm sure that he got done for using his telephone in the car. And I said to him, he was driving this big 6 Series or 7 Series BMW. I said, you must have Bluetooth in your car, haven't you? Fucking no idea. No idea. But he was wonderful. He was one of them that you want in your squad.
I was going to say, when he's getting out, he's dripping.
All those
things.
You train like
a
beast, on time. He was great for the lads. He's just one of those characters that you could never put him down, you'd never get him down, or would you want to? Yeah. And I've seen him since he came. Did he come down with Watford? Was he coaching at Watford? And we played the reserves at Cardiff. It was lovely to see him. Great lad, really good guy.
A few lads have spoken about, because you used to always get us in the Monday after a Christmas do.
Yeah.
If you remember. You hear about them getting on the motorbike on the way back from where'd they been? They've been to Glasgow.
Yeah.
On the M6.
Yes, I heard the story. I heard, he got out and jumped on the back of it, and the traffic started.
Brilliant.
But there's always one at a club, isn't there? There's always.
Do you think it needs one?
I think it does. Yeah. There's a stacky. There's the serious one, but there's always one who's right off the.
Have you signed many players for that reason? Not necessarily an absolute live wire, but good around the place.
No, I've tried to avoid them mainly. I have to be honest. I've not really researched them and found out if they are off the case. But I mean, I pretty much like lads who come in on time, train on time, work hard, all those things. But if somebody's got a quirky personality, it's never bothered me.
Yeah.
Providing it doesn't upset the applicant. It generally helps.
One more from me. I know we spoke about the signings that come off from the lower leagues and what have you. But I said this on Charlie Mulgrew's podcast, that once you make your mind up early that you're not having them, that's them done. And I remember talking about Ella Corby, there was a left back, influx of left backs. There was Matt Hill, didn't really work out. George Friend,
Jamie Clapham.
Yeah, what's the, if a player comes in that you think, right, I'm going to hang my hat on him, and it doesn't work out, how long does it take, and is there a second chance, or is it just a case of...
Oh, I don't make my mind up as quickly as that in terms of bombing them out of the club by any stretch of the imagination. I think I would tell them what I thought about the performance, but that doesn't mean I bombed them out. That doesn't mean that's them finished. They've got time to repair. It's up to them to repair that job, surely. Mm. With help from me, from TC or from Taff. But, Charlie, I said he was a young lad that came in a swap deal with another left back that went to Celtic.
Naylor,
Lee Naylor, who, as I've got the job, I thought he was one of my best players, and losing him. So I hadn't really seen Charlie, to be fair to Charlie. Charlie was a left-sided centre-back, I would say, rather than left back. I played him at left back against the flying wing, and of course he had one, and I took him off. But it wasn't me in terms of that performance. It was how, I said before, I think Charlie realised that he's no longer at Celtic where you go out and you're the best team, you're the best players. Mm. We are trying to get promoted out of the Championship, and you know how ruthless that is. And I must have been impressed with him in training, or I wouldn't have played him. It must have impressed me. I must have thought, he can do that. He's a left back. Let's do it. But, it happens sometimes. First game, he had an absolute shiter.
I suppose he bent so much pressure you're under as well.
Yeah, I'm under the pressure. And he's turned out to be a fabulous player for his club and his country. I mean, I was interested listening to him about Celtic as well, how pressurised that is, It's everywhere. It's you go out, you go in a pub, you go in a restaurant, it is everywhere there. Or one or the other. Because if you're not seen by a Celtic fan, you're seen by a...
Yeah, can quickly change.
Rangers, so...
We asked Granty that, and he said he couldn't enjoy it. It was that intense.
Too intense.
He couldn't enjoy playing for Celtic, obviously boyhood club, it was just that.
I think when you're born there and you've lived there all your life, you understand, because all his mates will be like that. You see, mine weren't.
Mm. Pressure of all his family.
Pressure of all his family, pressure of all his mates, pressure of all, other lads he'll know who, support the opposition. And I think for the lads up there, it is far greater than me, without any doubt. I loved it. I loved my 2 years there. But there was that element of, going into a pub one night. My mate got a pub, was it in Cambuslang? And I didn't know, because there's Rangers pubs and Celtic pubs. Hello, Mr. Stupid here, I didn't got a clue. And yet my mate was Billy Cowan, they call him, Rangers fan, had a pub. He said, do you want to come round one night? I said, I will. I went round with my grey slacks, green blazer, white shirt, green tie, my full Celtic clobber. And as I walked in, it was like, everybody turned around. I sat down, this guy comes across to me, said, hey, big man, you can't wear your colours in here. You can't wear your colours. They mean you can't wear your scarf at all. There's no supporters in here, So he says, you've got to take your tie off. I said, really? Yeah, you can't wear your tie. I said, you can fuck off. I said, this is my club clothes. This is my work clothes. I go to work in this. He went, all right, big man. And he went, all he was doing was just trying me out. He wanted me to take my tie off. That's all it was. The way he asked me, and I said, no, you can fuck off. No, I'm not taking my tie off.
I'll take the whole jacket off if you want. Just sat there in your boxers.
Well, no, if I was going to get a good hiding, I was going to get a good hiding by off
your tie.
No, I'd kind of got it then. I knew what they were all about, You can't... I guess I was wrong doing it, but it's my mate's pub. He says, come in after the game one day.
He's half stitched it up.
I think he probably did, Billy. Yeah.
Was there any manager over the years who you just loved getting one over on more than any other?
If ever you could, Big Billy probably, because he was Billy McNeil. I know we wasn't getting one over him, but if we could have a bit of fun and a bit of take the mickey out of him, not personally, like just behind him, he ruled the roost. Did Billy? He was, yeah.
Did you mean beating their team?
Yeah, as a manager.
Sorry, I thought you meant in terms of players having a laugh, because he was well. Even so, still, that if you could ever have a bit of a piss take with him, and because didn't come too often. That a manager to beat. Yeah, Pards actually. If he comes to mind, because he says you weren't that good when we just won the league. That was one, and he always made it hard. No, not really. Fucking all of them.
Yeah.
Do you know? I used to go in and see them all, mate, after games. Always went in.
But you can't like them all. You can like.
Go and check
you
it.
Like some more than others.
I did, but I'm not going to protect the innocent or even give them a mention. There's one or two that I wouldn't fucking have out to do with.
Would there be many that give you the limp handshake after you beat them?
Yes, yeah. It was a bit different. There were. It's a while ago, and I was in the Championship. I think I can't remember too many giving me. I tell you who did. Arsene Wenger did. He gave me because if you remember at Manchester United, when I was at Wolves, I changed the whole team, and we went there and we got beat 3-0. And of all things, we conceded from a corner after about 25 minutes, which we shouldn't. And Arsene came out and said about me playing the reserves and I must be a Man United fan or something and all that. So I was after him, and he came and he gave me he always did to everybody, but he disappeared. You could never see him. He wouldn't come and have a drink. And I've got on great with him since. But do you know what? They all just want to win. And I get it now. I get it a little bit more. I'd go and shake hands with them. And I think I do. I think I'm sporting afterwards when we've lost. Whatever, won, lost or drawn, we've had our scrap. Go and shake hands and get on. You might not like it. I mean, I did. Oh, so tell me now, Dave.
Billy Davis.
Billy Davis. We're playing there, and he's got his staff there. We are down to. We're right in the game, right in it, and we get Stearman sent off. I'm sure it's Steers gets sent off, and we get beat in the last minute. I was fucking incandescent with rage. Still went in to see him. And Dave Kelly was the coach, and who I'd played with Ireland. And when you went into their room, I went in the door here, and they were all up there having a little bite to eat and a beer. And Dave came walking towards me, and they'd all been in the refs here and all. They got him sent off. I really shouldn't have gone in because I was still at it. And Dave Kelly came across and said to me, "Are you all right?" I said, "No, I'm not. And I really want to fucking headbutt you." And that little fucker was your manager.
That little fucker.
And he laughed. I said, "But I'm not going to do, so we're all right." And I was still seeing, I went in everywhere. I did. And some were good and some weren't. And, I love that part of it, though. I did, yeah. Some of the reactions that you got when you went in.
We had Lambert on.
Yeah.
And remember when Jose's tried to shake his hand before the final whistle?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of treatment he getting if he tried that with you?
Fucking hell. Not a chance. No, not a chance. No,
I did till full time.
I did have one that I'm not going to name him now. I can't. He came and tried to shake hands with him. They're beating us at our place, and he'd just been a dick. He had in the previous 2 games, and another one came to shake my hand, and in front I went, fuck off. No, I'm not. I couldn't. And it's not like me. It was lots of other stuff. And of course, then he's holding his hand out like that, and I thought, he's holding the hand out. This is for everybody else, not for me. So I did. I went, fuck off, you little twat. Shook his hand. So then the coaches are coming, oh, no, he's not that bad. No, he's not that bad. He's worse than that. So, you know what? That was one day I didn't have a drink with him that day. That didn't happen, no.
Was that a Premier League, or I'm just going to try and narrow this down? Was it in the Premier League? Or
No, it was in the Championship. I've had some really good ones. I remember Watford getting a coach. So, sorry if I'm keeping it now. So, Watford have got this coach who, he's Italian and he really can't speak English, but he a little bit of a bit like myself, bit of broke English. So, you'll get his name because he comes and he stands. And I'd greet every one of them. Go and shake the hand, go and see him before, see him afterwards. I do my fighting on the pitch, not bitching and all that afterwards. So he comes and he's shouting on, and then he's got this interpreter that keeps shouting on to the players. So we've done this, and then there's a bit of a fracas on the pitch. So the fourth official and the linesman are having a go at the coach. He's stepping over the line and he's doing something. So I said to the fourth official, "Fuck's sake, will you leave him alone? He fucking don't understand a word you're telling him. It's his first game. They were real giving out to him. So I'm sticking up for him. I said, give him a break, for fuck's sake." So anyway, I'd said something to the coach. So then the interpreter fucking starts shouting at me. So I said, what's your fucking office? I said, where's your office? He said, well, leave him alone. Stop. You know, he thought I was
winding it up.
Yeah. So I said, so I come off afterwards. And we're having a beer afterwards. And he comes in, the coach, and he's all over me like we'd drawn. And I shook his hand and we sat down, had a beer, had a chat. No idea what I said. He had no idea what he said. And then I said to the interpreter, I said, and what were you fucking saying? You were the only one who could understand English on the fucking bench and you were picking a fight with me. And I was sticking up for him. And then when I went to Watford, he invited me and he said, this never happens in Italy. Never. He said, it's war. But because we'd had him in afterwards, he come in and had a beer and he invited us in afterwards. Never. He says, I've never been in another man's office afterwards for a drink. So he was suitably impressed him. He liked it. He thought it was the way to do.
And was the communication issue worked out that he realised you were sticking up for him?
Yeah, he was all right. Yeah, I think, the interpreter finally communicated to him that actually I was trying to get him to avoid a booking. Fucking interpreter. The only one could speak English on the bench and he still got it wrong.
Steve Evans, that's what I'm saying. Previous story.
Oh, no, but I did have a run-in with Steve as well. I did at Rotherham. Because I'm on shouting and he came shouting at me. I'm shouting at my team, the players, and for some reason I think he thought I was shouting at the linesman. So he comes marching out of his dugout towards me and he's shouting at me, because he gives out yards. I don't give out to the opposite. I only give out to the opposite bench if they're giving out about my players, my team. Maybe he thought I was. So he comes down. I go, me being me, I've given him. Where's your office? I'm not going to say what I called him. And I was he's giving it me, and I said, yes, I'll come and give you a slap. So anyway, the linesman, it's nonsense between us all, it's never going to happen, but we're all shouting. So anyway, the linesman says to me, Mick, and the fourth official, Mick, will you calm down? Just calm down. Calm down, I wasn't doing it. I said, it was him. Come sticking his nose in, shouting at me. He said, calm down. He said, but if you do give him a slap, can I watch? And he took the sting out of me straight away because I laughed at him. But I think he'd like to have seen him get one as well. If you do stick one on him, can I watch?
He must be an official's nightmare, him.
I tell you what, he's done well with the clubs he's done and all that. And he's back at it again. And him and George Elikobie were down at that game last year, the FA Cup tie, which George won. Yeah.
Would you go back into it, or are you retired, or...?
Not retired, John, but I think the game might have retired me. It's 18 months since I've been in the game, so I don't think there's anybody coming knocking now. Although I thought that when I went to Blackpool, but I didn't cover myself in glory there, unfortunately. Shame, that's a great club and all. And, well, because Steve's there and all now and doing well. I don't know. If somebody came, do you know what, John? It's generally a shit show that I inherit. I've never got a job I've applied for. It's usually somebody's come and asked me, even from the Island job, asked me to go and have an interview for it. And I've had some success with shit shows, and I've left some shit shows where they were when I inherited them. So, but it's difficult, if that's what you keep inheriting, keep trying to do that. But I've loved it. Been very fortunate. I've had all them games. It's been brilliant.
Next stop, jungle, hopefully.
Well, come on. Who doesn't like rats and spiders and snakes and eating pigs' arseholes? I mean, what's not to like?
Mick,
absolutely incredible. Thank you very much.
Well, I've enjoyed it. Pleasure,
Cheers,
lads.
thank you.
I'm going to go with camera 2 to finish.
What, the sexy stare?
No, I'm never going to dance again.
Never going to dance again. That would scare me. Strictly Come Dancing would scare me. I think I'd sooner be in the jungle than on Strictly, that's for sure. Having seen Merce.
Oh dear. I've not watched it.
Oh, I love it. That's my Saturday evening watch. That's fantastic. It really is.
When Howard Wilkinson got the job, were you going to get it before him? Did you?
Yeah, apparently. Well, I mean, that's as the story goes, that Bob Murray asked, as the story goes, so whether it's true or not, but I've had it for, Bob Murray asked Howard what he thought of me as a coach, and he said, well, I can get you a better one than that. I'll come and do it and bring Steve Cottrell as the best young coach around as my second in command. So that's what happened, yeah.
Brilliant.
That went well.
If that's true. I never asked Bob Murray, and I've certainly not asked Howard or anybody else. So.
Brilliant, Mick. Cheers. Appreciate that.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks very much.
It weren't Chopper at Ipswich, weren't it? Now we're off.
Oh.
We always said I signed some Ipswich and he were a prick.